was an ocean when my life was running dry. Your name was a refuge through every single fight. And I know you were beside me. And I know you are beside me here. High on the mountaintop, I'm taking in your love. Look back at all you've done, you're with me, you're with me. I can't believe my eyes, still left here all this time. You never left my side, you're with me, you're with me. You're with me, you're with me. And you set me in motion when my life was stuck in place. And you gave me direction when my heart had lost its way. And I know you are beside me. And I know you are beside me here. High on the mountaintop, I'm taking in your love. Look back at all you've done, you're with me, you're with me. And I can't believe my eyes, still left here all this time. You never left my side, you're with me, you're with me. You're with me, you're with me. You're with me, you're with me. And after all this time, you never left my side. On mountain heights, I'm found in you. And in the valleys low, still my soul will know that you never fail. And I trust in you. Hey! You're with me, you're with me. You're with me, you're with me. Amen.
Now the darkness fades into new beginnings as we lift our eyes to the hope beyond. All creation waits with an expectation to declare the reign of the Lord our God. We will not be moved when the earth gives way. For the risen one is overcome, and for every fear there's an empty grave. For the risen one is overcome. Now the silence breaks in the name of Jesus. As the heavens cry, let the earth respond. All creation shouts with a voice of triumph to declare the reign of the Lord our God. We will not be moved when the earth gives way. shall reign forever. Strongholds now surrender for the Lord. Our God has overcome. Who can be against us? Jesus, our defender. He is Lord, and He has overcome. He shall reign forever. Strongholds now surrender for the Lord. Our God has overcome. Who can be against us? Jesus, our defender. He is Lord, and He has overcome. We will not be moved when the earth gives way, for the risen one has overcome. Thank you, Lord. And for every fear, there's an empty grave, for the risen one has overcome. We will not be moved when the earth gives way, for the risen one has overcome. And for every fear, there's an empty grave, for the risen one has overcome. You've overcome. Thank you, Jesus. Praise you that we too are overcomers.
Aren't you just so glad that our God is an overcomer, that our Jesus has risen, that the grave is empty, there is no more fear. No more fear. God, you're unshakable. You are the constant in every wind of change, the one that I run to, my forever hiding place. Take me into your shelter, safe in every storm. Draw me closer in your love, never let me go. Who you are is who you are. Who you are, you always will be. Seated in the highest place, the unshakable King. When the world is shaking, when all around me falls, when this heart is breaking, there's one name I will call. I will always cry Jesus.
unshakable King.
Come on, nations rise. Thank you, Father.
Nations rise and nations fall. You're unfailing through it all. All creation shouts and sings to the unshakable King.
God, we thank you that you're unshakable. God, when the world seems so chaotic in the midst of economic turmoil or whatever it might be, God, you're a firm foundation for us. God, we thank you that you're unwavering no matter what the circumstances or the situation is. And we are so thankful that we worship an unshakable King. God, I thank you that you're here right in our living room with us. God, I worship you and I honor you and I thank you. And it's in Jesus' name, amen. Thanks so much for worshiping with us. Stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome to ELC. I'm Samantha and I'm so glad that you decided to spend part of your weekend with us. Our mission is to revive believers, reach friends, and renew culture. At ELC, we provide a warm, welcoming atmosphere where you can always find love, prayer, and support. Our worship celebrates God's presence and our services are designed to be engaging as we show God's love for you. In just a few minutes, you're going to hear a relatable message that will both encourage and challenge you. With all that has recently been going on with our church, we wanted to share with you a few ways that you can stay connected with one another. So sit back and let us tell you what's happening here at your church.
If you haven't already done so, be sure to take time and download our Church Center app. This app is available for your iPhone or Android device. Once you download the app, make sure you select our church, Elevation Life Church, because many churches in our area use this app. This app provides information about our church as well as upcoming events. You can stream our services every Sunday morning through this on your phone. You can also pay your tithes and offerings this way as well. We are thankful for a generous church, and this app allows you to contribute to the ministries here as well as give to missions. Also, you can check your kids in through this app. By checking your child in through our Church Center app, it makes the child check-in process quicker. We have a QR scanner at our child check-in desk, and once you pre-check your child in, you can simply scan it at our check-in desk, and it will print a sticker for your child. With all that's been happening, the Church Center app allows you to stay up to date with everything that's going on here, so download the Church Center app today.
ELC, it's time to meet together again in person. We will be meeting next week, March 28th at Lynn Haven Elementary School. We will be going back to one service at 10 a.m. Be sure to get there a little early to get donuts and coffee and socialize. If you have to get children checked in and to their locations, you'll have plenty of time and help will be available to you. We are beyond thankful for the principal and staff at Lynn Haven Elementary School and the opportunity for God to do something great and new at ELC. We are so excited to be meeting back that we're throwing a party. We will be having giveaways, prizes, and food, so be sure to plan on being there next week, and we cannot wait to see everyone at 10 a.m.
Next Sunday on March 28th, our Action Kids and Wonder Kids are teaming up to put on a family park day. The location of the park day has changed. This will now be at Lynn Haven Elementary School following our Sunday morning service. There's going to be pizza, drinks, and an egg grab. We want this to be a time that families can connect with other families and enjoy time together. So be sure to stick around after service next Sunday.
Life groups are starting back the week of March 21st. Since we are not meeting in person, sign-ups for these groups will need to be done on the Church Center app. In a time like this, we need each other more than anything in the world. It's a perfect way to stay connected. In the promo video, you'll hear sign up or stop by the information desk, but this will need to be done through the Church Center app. Be sure to sign up for a life group today.
Hey, I'm Will Coffey.
And I'm Elisa.
We're going to do a sermon-based life group at our house. What that means is we're going to take what the pastors are speaking on Sunday mornings and just go a little bit deeper. We really want to dive into fellowship and community too. So after this video today, before you leave church, go to the Welcome Center and sign up.
Hey, my name's Jim Boyce and I'll be leading a sermon-based men's life group. If you're a guy, young, old, single, or married, and just want to hang out with other guys, sign up at the information desk.
Hi, I'm Shelby.
And I'm Tyler.
And we will be hosting a young married couples life group. This will be a life group where we dive in deeper to what Pastor has to say on Sundays. We'd love to see you there. Sign-up sheet is at the welcome table.
Hi, I'm Sherry Thompson, and I will be hosting a women's life group. This will be a sermon-based group where we will be diving deeper into what our pastors are teaching us on Sunday. I'd like to invite all of you that would like to come be a part, all of you ladies, Sign up.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt here, and hey, I want to welcome you to the new temporary location for Elevation Life Church. I'm super excited. Principal John Cannon at Lynn Haven Elementary School has allowed us to use their facilities while we're working everything out. So come on, let me give you a tour around. Welcome to our Welcome Center. We're going to have donuts, coffee, everything's going to be awesome. Right in this way is going to be our worship center. There's also playgrounds and stuff that our kids will be able to play on and have fun. There's a lot of fun days ahead. Let me show you where our kids are going to be meeting. Follow me. Through this building is going to be where our Wonder Kids, nursery, and toddlers are going to meet. Come on, this way. The end of the hallway here is going to be where our toddlers and nursery and 3 to 5 year olds meet. This is going to be where our nursery is. All of our babies up to 18 months are going to be here in this room. And then right here is going to be where our toddlers and 3 to 5 year olds are going to be. And if you follow me this way, we're going to go to where Action Kids, our 1st through 5th graders, are going to meet. Right inside here is the school's media center, where our 1st through 5th graders and Action Kids are going to meet. Right outside the media center where the Action Kids meet is another entrance into the campus. There's only going to be 2 entrances into the entire campuses. One is right here, and there's going to be the other one right outside the cafeteria or the worship center where we're going to meet on the corner of Alabama and 10th Street, I believe. So right here. There's parking all along here that you guys can take advantage of and park on Sundays. If you want to drop your kids off, this is where you can park. We are excited to be meeting together on March 28th. That's in just a little bit over a week. We're going to be back in person meeting together here. We are thankful to the staff and faculty and Principal Cannon here at Lynn Haven Elementary for allowing us to use their facilities. God is still good. God is so good, and we can't wait to see you. With all that's been happening and changing, we are going back to only one service. This is going to happen at 10 a.m. every single Sunday, starting on March 28th. So I want you to mark your calendars. I can't wait to see you. We're going to have church March 28th. Good morning. Hey, welcome to Elevation Life Church Online. I'm so excited that you guys are watching with us. And next Sunday, we're going to be back together in person. I can't wait to meet you all at Lynn Haven Elementary School. Their faculty and their principal have been so awesome and such a blessing during this time. And they have a brand new auditorium, which we're going to be meeting in. They have playgrounds for the kids. And I'm really, really excited about it. It really is an amazing blessing. And the reality is the place where we've been meeting is just a building. It's just a building. We're the church, and we can meet wherever God allows. And we can encourage one another wherever we are to grow and draw closer to Christ. And I sure have missed you guys, and I'm beyond excited to meet with you guys again next Sunday. We're planning a big celebration. We're going to have giveaways and gifts, and there's going to be an Easter egg hunt, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. So you don't want to miss it. Invite somebody. Come next Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have one service at 10 a.m., so be there early. You can get familiar with the campus, and I can't wait to see you guys. But today is our last week of being solely online. I appreciate your patience with us as we've been working very hard behind the scenes, dealing with attorneys, DEP, engineers, and all kinds of stuff. And so it's been a lot of work. This is uncharted territory for us, and it's just been a lot of work. But God has been opening doors, and He's really been directing us and giving us favor with so many. And so But today I'm going to talk to you guys about pressure. And the title of my message is Under Pressure. How many of us out there feel like we have a tremendous amount of pressure in our lives? I operate my life with a certain amount of pressure, right? That's good for me. There's a certain amount of pressure that I operate my life with. But I want to look at what God says about pressure. So we're going to read in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 7 through 11. So it says this: endure suffering as discipline. God is dealing with you as sons. For what son is there that a father does not discipline? But if you're without discipline, which all receive, then you're illegitimate children and not sons. Furthermore, we had natural fathers discipline us, and we respected them. Shouldn't we submit even more to the Father of spirits and live? For they disciplined us for a short time based on what seemed good to them, but he does it for our benefit, so that we can share his holiness. No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields the fruit of peace and righteousness to those who have been trained by it. How many of you listening to me love to work out? I mean, like love going to the gym and work out. And so I know there's some of y'all out there, right? Vince Martin, Rachel Dowis. I'm looking at you guys, right? Some of y'all just have an obsession with working out and going to the gym. I have a weird relationship with working out. I know it's by looking at my chiseled physique, it's hard for you to understand, but I tried working out. It was really painful, and I was like, man, Sarah is just going to have to go for my personality, but at least I can play the guitar, Sarah. So, it's just, I have a weird relationship with working out. Some of you take it to a whole nother level. Some of you guys are just like, you only eat like bean sprouts and free-range tofu, and raisin skins, and you just take it to a whole nother level. If you're not that person, you know somebody in your mind right now, you're thinking of them that just takes it to a whole, the people that carry a gallon jug of water with them everywhere they go. But I want to work out. I want to. I want to lose weight. I have good intentions at times. I pay a monthly fee right now. I pay every month for a gym that I never go to. I start out strong. I just lack the self-discipline to stay committed. I go to the gym sometimes by myself in the past, and I don't understand what works what muscles out. So I'm not going to ask anybody what works out what muscles. So I'm always looking at the pictures on the side of the machines, and if I can't figure it out in 5 seconds, I just move on. But after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, reality sets in, and I realize I just don't want to do it. Right? I have a weird relationship with working out. I believe in it. I want the effects of it. I just don't want to do it. I heard this story about a guy named Charles Blondin who lived in the 1800s. And he was a professional tightrope walker. And he came over to America, and he wanted to walk on a tightrope across Niagara Falls. And so the story goes, he set up a tightrope across Niagara Falls, and he drew a crowd, and he walked back and forth, and the crowd was cheering him on, and they were going crazy. And he did all kinds of theatrical stuff on it. He walked across blindfolded on stilts, pushing a wheelbarrow. He went out to the middle and sat down and cooked an omelet and ate it. And he balanced on a chair on one leg, and the crowd went nuts. And the way the story goes is, he goes over to the side and he asks the people, he says, who believes that I can push a wheelbarrow across Niagara Falls on this tightrope? And everybody in the crowd shouted out, we believe! And he says, how many of you believe that I can push a man in a wheelbarrow across Niagara Falls? And everybody shouted, we believe! And then he said, can I have a volunteer? And nobody volunteered. Nobody volunteered. I feel like that's how we are with God. I feel like we have a weird relationship with growing spiritually. I mean, we believe in growing. We want the effects of it. We just don't want to do it. We're happy with putting our spiritual life on autopilot and just being comfortable. We tell God, we say, God, I believe you can do anything. I believe you can do anything. And God says, okay, get in the wheelbarrow. And we're like, just kidding. JK, God, just kidding. But here's the thing. God wants you to look like Jesus. How many of you know somebody who is selfless and has integrity, and somebody who is generous, and they just they genuinely love people. They're genuinely kind. And I know you're all probably thinking of me right now, but think of somebody else, right? So for me, growing up, that was my youth pastor, Scott Lingerfeld. He was the most genuine person I knew. He just loved God and he loved people. He was the most selfless, generous person I knew. And when we know somebody like that, we go, man, I want to be just like that. I want to be like them. None of us want to be selfish or mean or greedy. Or I believe that all of us listening, we want to be known for being generous and selfless and sympathetic and loving. We're just not sure if we want to get in the wheelbarrow, because it takes training to be that kind of person. We believe in it. We want the effects of it. We just don't want to do it. We have a weird relationship with growth. It gets weird and stressful in the wheelbarrow, right? The pressure is on when you look over and you check your surroundings. It feels a lot like discipline. That last verse of the scripture we read earlier, Hebrews 12:11, it says, "No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields the fruit of peace and righteousness to those who have been trained by it." So what that means is God's discipline is training. God's discipline isn't like our discipline, right? When I discipline my children, it's always about the past. It's always about the past. My kids do something, Maddox, Spartan kicks Brooks off the couch or something, and then we have to go into his room and we have a talk about it, and followed by discipline. But it's all about because of what he did. It's all about the past. So God's discipline, my discipline is all about the past. But God's discipline is all about the future. The Bible says that it's training. God knows that there are things that we must learn to endure so that we can build character and that it can yield peace and righteousness in our lives. It's not fun, but it's necessary. When we see somebody I also think that we misunderstand the word discipline sometimes. When we see somebody who's very skilled at their craft, we say they're very disciplined. We don't mean that they're getting in trouble all the time. So we just mean that people that took tons of time to develop their craft. That could be an incredible musician or a talented athlete, but we say the same thing. We say, man, they're very disciplined. I love music. I devoted my entire life to music. I spent countless hours learning music. I didn't want to just learn how to play guitar. I wanted to learn to play drums and piano and bass, and I wanted to learn to sing melody, and I wanted to learn to sing harmony. I wanted to learn everything. I spent all kinds of time, countless hours on it, and I can say I'm a disciplined musician. But here's the deal. God doesn't want you to run your life on autopilot. He wants you to grow. And the way that he helps you grow is he turns on the pressure. If you have no pressure, you never have to trust God. But when your finances look impossible, you have to trust him. When your marriage is hanging by a thread, you have to trust God. When you lose your job or you get demoted, you have to trust God. When your church nearly collapses, you have to trust God. Pressure builds faith, pressure builds character, and pressure yields peace. Do you know why God trains you? Do you know why God disciplines you? Because he has big plans for you. Do you know why God trains you? Because he's proud of you and he's preparing you. I believe that's why we're going through as a church what we're going through, right? I believe it's because God is preparing us for something big. We're in training. Some of you right now are going through hell, and I'm here to let you know you're in training. You're in training. There's going to be things in your life in the future that you would not be able to do unless you were trained. So here's the thing about training. It takes time. It takes time. The scripture says, at the end of that verse, it says, later on, however, it yields the fruit of peace and righteousness to those who have been trained by it. The reason I can't stay committed to the gym is because it takes forever to see results, right? If I don't see results in like 2 weeks, I'm like, man, this is just taking too long. It's taking forever. So I don't want to stick with it. The reason, I teach music lessons, and the reason the majority of my students don't practice is because it takes time to be good. Nobody likes doing something you're not good at, and your fingers hurt when you press the strings. You have to take time to build calluses. It all takes time. I didn't just wake up one day as a Christian and go look in the mirror and go, whoa! And then Sarah, my wife, runs in and she's like, she says the same thing. I'm like, I know, I look just like Jesus, don't I? It doesn't just happen like that. It takes time. If you hear me play guitar and sing now, and you heard me play guitar and sing 15 years ago, trust me, I sound better today than I did 15 years ago. It took time. It didn't happen overnight. Little by little, piece by piece. So how do you look like Jesus? Over time, little by little, one day at a time. It's all about perspective. When you're down, tell yourself, God's got a plan. When you're working a dead-end job, do the best you can do. When your spouse doesn't want to be with you, stay committed, pray, and little by little, you become more and more like him. So here's the first thing that we have to do. We have to take God seriously. We have to take him seriously. So many times we fail to have spiritual discipline in our life. Reading our Bible is not fun at first, right? Praying and talking to an invisible God isn't fun at first. Being nice to people who aren't nice to you isn't fun. But as you daily tell yourself to grow, it becomes easier to do, little by little, day by day. We have to take God seriously. When you fail to read your Bible, if you only read your Bible when I do it for you or when one of our pastors do it for you, you're on autopilot. You're on autopilot. You're not disciplined. Discipline yourself to grow so when God starts to discipline you, you're already familiar with the process. Okay? So start disciplining yourself so when God disciplines you, you're already familiar with the process. There's a story in the Bible about King David, and he's bringing the Ark of the Covenant. We've talked about this before. He's bringing the Ark of the Covenant back to Israel, which is a good thing. They loaded the Ark on a cart, and it was pulled by oxen. And bringing the Ark back is a good thing, right? The Ark represents God's presence. They're doing a good thing the wrong way. God gave clear instructions on how to carry the Ark. It's supposed to be carried by priests. Nobody's to touch the Ark. There's supposed to be poles that go through the Ark, and the priests carry it on their shoulders. But here's the problem with that. The Ark is laden with gold. It's heavy. And they have to carry it from one city to the next city. It's not fun. It's heavy. And so I can't even imagine. So they said, hey, look, we're going to do this the easy way. We're going to do it our way. We're going to put it on a cart. We're going to let oxen carry it. And a couple of guys are walking behind the cart, and one of the oxen stumbles, and the Ark of the Covenant's about to fall into the mud. And this guy named Uzzah, he does the most natural thing in the world, what any of us would do. Something starts to fall, he doesn't want the Ark to fall, so he puts his hand up to prop it up. He touches the Ark, and God strikes him dead. God's anger burned against them for carrying the Ark this way. And I was reading this passage of Scripture a while back, and I feel that God told me this. He said, the reason they weren't carrying me the right way is because it was heavy. But when you carry me, when you carry God, you need to feel the weight of that. God doesn't dwell in the Ark anymore. He dwells in us. And you should feel the weight of carrying God with you wherever you go. You should always remember that every struggle you walk into, you're carrying God with you. How you react to things, you need to show Jesus through you and how you react to things. Look, a lot of churches, they may not like speaking messages like this. They want you to know that when you accept Jesus, the pressure's off. A lot of churches say that, when you accept Jesus, all the pressure's off. And in some sense, they're correct. I love a happy message, I do, right? But when you accept Jesus, I just want you to know the more biblically accurate thing is that the pressure gets turned up when you accept Jesus. So will you accept his training? Will you accept God's discipline in your life? Look, we're walking through uncharted territory as a church, as a leader. Like this is difficult, but we're being trained for something. And I accept God's training, however this is. And when we walk through difficult circumstances, our eyes are on Jesus. And we're excited for what he's going to do. He's preparing us for something big. And if you're going through something at home, just remember, he's preparing you. It's preparation. He's got big plans for you. God disciplines those he loves. That doesn't mean you're in trouble. Remember, discipline is what makes you better. It builds patience. It builds character. It builds endurance. God's disciplining you. He's training you. Will you accept God's training? Shift your perspective and trust God. Can I pray with you? Heavenly Father, I love you. God, I thank you that you're a God who loves us. God, you train us. You walk with us through difficult times. And God, I pray that when we feel the pressure is turned up in our lives, God, that we'll take a deep breath and we'll remember to accept your training. God, you're preparing us for something great. So God, I pray for every single person watching this, God, that the pressure's on in their marriage, in their finances, in their job, in their family, God, whatever it is, God, I pray that you would give them patience. God, it takes time. God, that they would look more and more like you with every decision that they make, how they handle themselves in moments of crisis, God, that they'll remember, they'll shift their perspective and just understand that it's your training, it's your preparation in their life. And God, I thank you for it. Encourage all of us today. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks so much for watching this message. There's more ahead.
What an incredible message this morning. We have enjoyed getting to experience this service with you today. If you are tuning in for the first time, please check out our website at elevationlifechurch.com. As always, we never want to close our service without giving you the opportunity for prayer. If you are in need of prayer, or if you would like more information about ELC, or if you're new, please fill out a connection card that will be in the comments section of this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and all of our social media outlets so that you can be informed each time we go live and stay up to date with all that's going on. We love you all, and we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week.